So, you've just spent hours, maybe even all night, in a technical lab. You've been running commands, chasing down leads, and finally, you crack it. Victory. But wait, now comes the really hard part, trying to explain what on earth you actually did. Okay, let's dive into how you can turn that post-lab chaos into a report that doesn't just pass, but truly shines. Here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle the documentation dilemma. Then, we'll get into why good notes are so critical. After that, I'll show you exactly how to capture your process, step by step. We'll cover how to structure your report, and finally, we'll talk about the secret sauce that takes a report from just good to great. Sound good? Let's go. All right, section 1, the documentation dilemma. You know what I'm talking about, that feeling of moving from total post-lab chaos to hopefully perfect clarity. We have all been there. The lab is finally finished, you're exhausted, and you're just staring at this mess. You've got a random collection of screenshots, a bunch of terminal outputs, and some commands you think you remember running. The thought of weaving all of that into a coherent story, it honestly feels harder than the lab itself. How are you supposed to explain your journey when your map is just a crumpled up disaster? But here's an idea. What if we totally reframed this? What if documentation wasn't that boring chore you save for the very end, but instead it was the powerful tool you use throughout the entire process? Because really, that's what it is. Systematic note-taking isn't just work, it's your secret weapon. It's your superpower for learning, for remembering, and for getting the results you want. So let's move on to section 2. Let's really talk about why good notes matter so much. And trust me, this isn't just about this one lab report. This is about building the very foundation for your success. Now, in a lot of these technical labs, especially in cybersecurity, you're doing something called enumeration. All that means is you're systematically gathering information on a target, say a server or a network, to find its weaknesses, or what we call attack vectors. Think of it this way. You are a detective on a case. And what is a detective's single most important tool? It's their notebook. So why does being a good detective with your notes matter so much? Well, it boils down to 3 huge benefits. First, the obvious one. You're going to get better grades. But more importantly, second, you will actually learn and retain this stuff because explaining your process forces you to understand it. And third, you're building an absolutely critical skill for the professional world, where clear, concise documentation is everything. You know, it all comes down to that old saying, the faintest ink is better than the best memory. A few hours after you ran some super complex command, your memory's gonna fail you. It's just a fact. But your notes, they won't. They are the solid, objective, unshakable record of what you did. Okay, so how do we actually do this? Welcome to Section 3, Capturing Your Process. I want you to put on your investigator hat again. You're building a case file, and every single clue, every command, every piece of output needs to be recorded with precision. This right here is your new best friend. For every major step you take, you just make a simple 4-part entry. Step 1, the goal. What are you even trying to do with this command? Write it down. Step 2, the command. What is the exact syntax you typed in? Copy and paste it. Step 3, the output. Grab only the key results, not the whole 500-line dump, just the important part. And finally, step 4, and this is the most critical part, your observation. What does this result actually mean? And what are you going to do next because of it? All right, you've been taking amazing notes. You've captured all the raw data. Section 4 is all about structuring your report. This is where we turn that detailed case file into a clean, professional map of your journey that anybody can follow. This is it. This is your guiding star for the whole report. The ultimate goal is to allow someone else, your instructor, a colleague, even you 6 months from now to perfectly replicate what you did. So you need a logical flow, an intro that says what you're trying to do, a methodology where you lay out your steps in order, a results section showing what you found, and a conclusion summarizing what you learned. If someone can pick up your report, follow your map, and end up in the same place, you've nailed it. And now for our final section, taking your report from good to truly great. This is the difference maker. These are the details that are going to elevate your work to a whole new level. And wow, this slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, we have mediocre notes, ran Nmap, found some open ports. I mean, yeah, that's technically true, but it is completely useless. Now look at the right. This is master level stuff. The goal is crystal clear. The command is precise. The output is specific and relevant. And the observation? The observation gives analysis and a next step. That's not just data. That's information. That's value. So let's wrap this up. What are the key things to take away from all this? First, and I can't say this enough, document as you go, not later. Second, always capture those 4 key things: the goal, the command, the output, and your observation. Third, structure everything for clarity so anyone can follow in your footsteps. And finally, remember that just listing commands isn't enough. Your analysis, the why, is what adds the real, true value. And I really want to leave you with this thought. The discipline you are building right now by documenting these labs, it's not just about passing a class. This is a foundational, non-negotiable skill for any technical career you can imagine. Whether you become a developer, a systems administrator, or a security analyst, your ability to clearly document your work is what will define your success. So, the next time you sit down to write a report, don't look at it as just another assignment. See it as the first chapter in your professional story. What tale of precision, clarity, and insight is your documentation going to tell about you?